Mexico, a land of contrasts, where ancient civilizations laid the foundation for modern society. From the towering pyramids of the Maya to the bustling streets of today's metropolises, Mexico's history is a story of resilience, revolution, and rich cultural heritage. This is the entire history of Mexico, from ancient civilizations to modern challenges. Mexico's history begins long before the arrival of European explorers. Thousands of years ago, it was home to some of the most advanced civilizations in the ancient world. The Olmecs, often called the Mother Civilization, laid the foundation for future societies. They are best known for their giant stone heads, which still captivate the imagination of archaeologists today. Then came the Maya, a civilization famed for its written language, intricate calendars, and stunning city-states like Chichen Itza and Tikal. The Maya's understanding of mathematics and astronomy was truly ahead of its time. The last great empire of pre-Columbian Mexico was the Aztec Empire, ruled from their capital city, Tenochtitlan. This city, built on an island in Lake Texcoco, would become one of the most powerful and culturally influential empires of its time. But in 1519, everything changed. In 1519, Spanish explorer Hernán Cortés arrived on the shores of what is now Mexico, leading a small group of soldiers and seeking fortune. With superior weaponry, disease, and alliances with native enemies of the Aztecs, Cortés succeeded in toppling the mighty empire by 1521. This marked the beginning of the colonial period. The once great city of Tenochtitlan was destroyed, and in its place, the Spanish built a new capital, Mexico City. For the next 300 years, the region was known as New Spain, and indigenous cultures were suppressed, while the Spanish imposed their language, religion, and economic systems. By the early 19th century, the winds of change were sweeping through Latin America. In 1810, a Catholic priest named Miguel Hidalgo rang the church bell, calling for independence from Spain. This moment, known as the Grito de Dolores, sparked a bloody 11-year war. Finally, in 1821, Mexico achieved its independence. But the journey towards stability had only just begun. Not long after its independence, Mexico faced new challenges. In 1846, a territorial dispute with the United States escalated into war. Mexico lost nearly half of its territory, including Texas, California, and the American Southwest, in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Then, in 1862, Mexico was invaded once again, this time by the French. Emperor Maximilian I was installed as a puppet ruler, but his reign was short-lived. Under the leadership of Benito Juárez, Mexico fought back, and the Second Mexican Empire crumbled. From 1876 to 1911, Mexico was under the control of President Porfirio Díaz, whose regime is remembered for both modernization and repression. While Mexico experienced economic growth and industrialization during the Porfiriato, inequality soared, and social unrest brewed beneath the surface. In 1910, revolution broke out, led by figures like Emiliano Zapata and Pancho Villa. The Mexican Revolution was a decade-long conflict over land rights, political freedom, and social reform. When the dust settled, the country had a new constitution and a new direction. In the aftermath of the revolution, the Institutional Revolutionary Party, PRI, rose to power, and it would dominate Mexican politics for much of the 20th century. During this period, Mexico also saw a cultural renaissance, with artists like Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo helping to define a new post-revolutionary identity for the nation. But not all was peaceful. The PRI's grip on power led to protests, including the tragic Tlatelolco massacre of 1968, when student demonstrators were brutally suppressed. The latter half of the 20th century saw Mexico's economy grow, particularly after joining NAFTA in 1994. This trade agreement linked Mexico's economy with those of the United States and Canada, but it also brought challenges, including economic inequality and labor issues. In recent years, Mexico has been marked by political reforms, social movements, and the ongoing fight against powerful drug cartels. Leaders like Vicente Fox, Enrique Peña Nieto, and Andrés Manuel López Obrador have all faced the immense challenge of governing a diverse and dynamic nation. Today, Mexico stands as a nation with a rich cultural heritage and a complex history. Its past is filled with both triumph and tragedy, from the rise of its ancient civilizations to the challenges of the modern era. But through it all, Mexico has remained a land of resilience, innovation, and immense pride.